Hello, welcome. This is the Operation Fit AF 365 Days Body Transformation Challenge information session. I'm going to share with you all of the details about how this works, what this is. Is this for you? Is this something that you're interested in doing? So welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel, I make videos about yoga and fitness for those of us in midlife who are interested in building a nice, strong, healthy, confident body that will last us well into our 70s, 80s, and 90s. You might be in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, even your 60s. We've got people here in their 70s as well, just really focusing in on all of the things that you need to do to build a nice, strong, healthy body. So if you are looking for I'm going to call this like a slow and steady return to the basics, get back to the normal just things that we do as part of a healthy lifestyle. That's what we're doing here in Operation Fit AF. And the idea is that you just take a year and focus in on a health and fitness goal, whatever it might be. Okay. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of the backstory of kind of how this came about. It started from my own personal fitness transformation. I'm somebody that I've always been, fairly in shape, pretty active person. But when I was in my 20s, I was that person I would go to the gym, but I would light up a Marlboro light, like leaving the gym as I was walking into the parking lot on the way to my car. Like I was that person. And one of my New Year's resolutions in 2006, I was 29 years old, was to quit smoking. And I decided that December 17th was that day. I woke up that morning and I was like, today's the day. I'm not going to wait till New Year's. And so I quit smoking as an early New Year's resolution. And that sort of set off the rest of like my fitness journey, my fitness experience. And, in 2008, 2009, I started expressing a little bit of an interest in bodybuilding. I'd been lifting weights for a really long time, and I was building I was building muscle. I was getting pretty solid, and I wanted to get into bodybuilding. And so in 2013, I did my first fitness competition. I did competitions in 2013, 2015, 2017, wasn't super good at them, but it was something that it gave me a goal. It gave me something to work towards, and learning how to live the lifestyle. Live the lifestyle of what is required to be a competitive bodybuilder, a competitive fitness, person. And in 2017, I just was kind of like, I need a break from all of this. I need a break from like this regimented, super strict, super structured lifestyle. And I started just kind of letting things go, as we all do. In 2017, I turned 40 years old, and that's when the middle-age creep started happening. 5 pounds here, 8 pounds there, 3 pounds. And then, we all know what happened in 2020. And if some people went one direction, I went the other, where a lot of people were like, I'm going to spend a lot of time working out at, my home gym and that kind of thing, which I did all of that. But I was also in the 4 o'clock every day is happy hour and the Costco, the little caramel nut coconut thingies that they have at Costco, where you can't just buy 3 of them. You have to buy a whole huge container of them. And a couple times a day, I'd swipe a handful of those. And, so between 2017, 2020, I gained, probably 25 or 30 pounds. But then once COVID happened and quarantine and all that, I gained more. And before I knew it, I was 60 pounds heavier than I usually was. And so in 2023, January of 2023, I broke my leg. I was hiking and broke my leg, broke my tibia and fibula, and had surgery, went through physical therapy, did all those things. And then in April of 2024, I had pretty well healed from that break. I'd gone through and did all the things I needed to do, but I wanted to just like get back to my old self. And I decided that in April 2024, I was going to give myself a year to lose 50 pounds. And the reason for that was because I knew I needed to lose a significant amount of weight. And, if you lose a pound a week, 50 pounds is realistic in a year. And to do it slowly, safely, the right way, without losing muscle, without going on the super crash diet where I'm super hungry all the time, that kind of thing. And so between April 2024 and December 2024, I ended up losing like 18 pounds or so. And then between December 2024 and then November of 2025, so 11 months or so, I lost another 42 pounds. So I lost a total of 60 pounds in about a year and a half. So if you look at that full year, so if I were to look at April 24 to April 25, I only lost like, I don't know, 35 pounds or so, right around there. And I wanted to lose 50. And I didn't go in like April 2025, go like, well, I had this goal to lose 50 pounds in a year, but I only lost 35. So screw it. I'm just going to eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, and, just give up on this lifestyle. It was, no, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. And so I gave myself more time. And that is really the point of all of this, is understanding that this is not a 30-day challenge. This is not a 6-month challenge. This is something that I was doing to work on shifting my mindset back from, okay, I'm ready to lose the weight. I'm ready to get back to my old self. And now I just want it off. It's so easy to be like, yep, I'm ready. I just want it off. I just want it done. Like, I just want it done right now. I'm ready. Okay. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. And learning how to enjoy that journey, enjoy that process, was something that I fell in love with. I absolutely fell in love with this process of challenging myself, seeing what I can do. How can I challenge my body? How can I see how strong I can get? Can I do this thing? Can I try something I've never done before? It was really just kind of turned into this thing of like, let's have a little bit of fun with this. If this is going to be a lifelong journey, let's make it fun. Let's do something fun with it. So when I was hiking with some girlfriends, one of my friends asked me, she's just like, so, what is it that you're kind of working on right now? And I said, I think I'm just going to take a year and get fit as fuck. And that's exactly what I said. Sorry if you don't like the language, but that's what I said. And I said, like, I just wanted to get snatched. I wanted to get jacked. I just wanted to be like back to my old self. And the more and more I started talking about it, the more and more other people were like, I want to do this with you. I want to join in with you. So today, what I wanted to do is talk to you about what is the Operation Fit AF 365 Days Body Transformation Challenge. And, I'm hesitant to call it a challenge because you're challenging yourself. This is what it is. It's you against you. But we do it together as a community, okay? And we rally each other. We support each other. We all have different goals. We all have unique journeys. We all have different experiences that we're coming into this with. But we're here to support each other. So this is a year-long focus on getting Fit AF for life. And so let's talk about this idea of giving yourself a year. So if you haven't read my book yet, right here, this is just the Amazon. This is a proof. This is just the Amazon thing here. But if you haven't read my book yet, I highly suggest it. It's an easy read, not super thick. I mean, you can read it in an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. And I'm going to work on the audio version for Audible here shortly, but it's this idea of just giving yourself a year. It's a long game approach to strength, health, and consistency. And in this book, I go over some of the principles that I like to share, that I like to teach in the Operation Fit AF challenge. And it's this idea of just getting back to the boring basics and getting out of this mindset of, I need to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. I need to lose 30 pounds for this wedding. I need to lose 30 pounds for this vacation. I need to lose 60 pounds for name your thing. I need to lose 150 pounds for name your thing, right? And it's this idea of like, let's give yourself a year. But a year can seem a little overwhelming. Like, it's like I said, when I was ready to lose the weight, I wanted to become a faster hiker. I wanted to get Fit AF and I wanted to become a faster hiker. So I knew that I needed to lose weight in order to be able to do that. I'd done everything else. It was time to lose weight. And, a year can be daunting. It can be overwhelming to think about, like, oh my gosh, but think about how fast a year goes. Think about how fast it goes. Okay. So I want to share with you just a couple of my pictures, and I'm just sharing my pictures here because we do have some people in the Operation Fit AF Body Transformation Challenge. Not everybody has like a weight loss goal. Okay. Mine was this. Mine was weight loss. Mine was more aesthetic, but we have other people that are in here that are like, I want to run a marathon. Some people are like, I want to work on my flexibility. I want to get back into just a regular workout routine. Okay. So that the transformation might not always necessarily be physical and that you can see it. Mine is. So I'm going to share these with you. Okay. So in the upper left corner up here, this is me in October of 2022. It was the heaviest I had ever been in my life. I was hiking the Grand Canyon there. I was hiking a rim to rim, 24 miles in one day. One of the hardest things I've ever done. So I was heavy, the heaviest I'd ever been, but I was in shape. I was like physically fit. I could do that. Like, that's a massive hike. And in the upper right corner here, you can see this is what I was talking about earlier in January of 23. I was hiking, broke my tibia and fibula, had to be airlifted off of a mountain. And that's a picture of them carrying me off into the sunset here, quite literally. And then in the bottom left corner here, this is about 6 weeks into my recovery. And my goal that day was to take my walker, and I'm struggling here. You can't necessarily see it, but I'm like leaning my body weight into my walker here. It's really bad. This was hard. This was a hard thing to do. I wanted to walk to the corner of my block. Now, I live in the middle of like a normal sized city block. I wanted to get to the corner, and I almost didn't make it. And, my husband and my dog were ahead of me. He's the one that took the picture, and he was just like, you gotta go. You gotta go. He was really pushing me. So it started with this goal of like, I just want to get to the corner. I just want to walk to the corner. That's it. And then this was like, I call it an after picture, but it's really more like a during. I call it, it's like a during up here. It's like, because this is not, there's no ending to this. Okay. The reason I have this picture here is I use this graphic as part of a transformation challenge that I was in, and it just was kind of showing the journey. Anyhow, so this is where this got started. So in April 2024, I hiked Havasupai Falls, which is it's a Native American tribe that still lives in the Grand Canyon. They do allow a certain number of people to visit each day. And I hiked down to the bottom and visited the falls, that kind of thing. That's a picture. I bought this shirt down there. Havasupai, just hike it. That was April 2024. When I hiked out of the canyon that day, when I got home, that was when I was like, I'm doing this. I'm going to lose the weight. I absolutely just love hiking, and I'm in good shape, but I know that I can enjoy it a little bit more if I lose some weight. I was just carrying around extra weight that I didn't need to be carrying around. So April 2025, this is where I lost the 35 pounds. And I call it a during picture because I just kept going. I wanted to lose 50. I only lost 35. I just keep going. So it's my during picture here. And then this is another picture of me. This is, I was in good shape. I hiked a lot. I was still lifting weights. I was still working out. I just put on weight. Just eating this, eating that, grazing, doing all those kinds of things. Wine, all that stuff adds up over 7 or 8 years. And so again, we got a before and a during picture here. And then a lot of you found me from this video right here is how I did it. So this is that picture from the Grand Canyon. And then this is a picture over here where I did my bodybuilding competition in November of 2025. This one I actually did okay in. I took second place this time. So the earlier ones, 2013, 2015, 2017, wasn't super good at them. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm enjoying this process. I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. And now I got second place. So it's like, now it's like my mindset has shifted. My mind has changed how I approach. It's not the outcomes, it's the journey. It's falling in love with that process. And the thing at the end is like, that's the gravy on the mashed potatoes. It's the frosting on the cake. So like training for a big fitness event, it's like the process is fun. And then that day, when you're prepared, you're ready for it, you're going to have a great time, whatever it might be. Maybe it's a marathon, maybe it's hiking the Grand Canyon, maybe it's doing a fitness competition, or maybe it's like, I'm not competitive and I don't want to do this stuff. I want to be healthy and I want to feel strong. I want to feel confident. I want to feel like when I look in the mirror after I take a shower, like I'm not just like, pissed off at what I'm seeing. And that's how I felt. Like, I was just like, this isn't me. This isn't me. I know that this isn't me. And it just kind of felt like I lost myself. I was just like I don't even know who this is anymore. Okay. And so every plan works. There's plans out there. I've got plans on my website that you can access. There's plans on YouTube. There's plans on Pinterest. People post shit on Instagram. There's stuff, right? So every plan works until it doesn't. Okay. And, all of us, we have different starting points, but might have the same problem here is this constantly switching approaches where it's like, okay, I want to do this thing. I want to train for this, or I want to lose weight, or I want to, whatever it might be. I want to fit into this dress. I want to fit into these jeans that I haven't been able to wear for, 10 years. The problem is constantly switching approaches 2-3 weeks in. You're like, this isn't working. This isn't working. I haven't seen any results. So I'm just going to quit and switch and try something else. And, you're just not thinking about it from the long game of like, you know what, maybe this is working, and the results aren't always going to be physical. The results might be, I slept really good last night, or the results might be something like I drank all my water today. I don't really drink a whole lot of water, but today I drank 3/4 of a gallon of water. The results might be, you know what, I had a really stressful work meeting and I didn't like blow up. I didn't get mad. I just handled it. I handled it. Okay. So sometimes the results aren't always physical. There's a lot of other results that you can see that maybe you're just not paying attention to until all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, you know what? That normally I would have totally blown up at that and I didn't. Because you're managing stress a little bit better. Stress isn't going to go away. It's not going to go away. You're just learning how to manage it a little bit better. Okay. So, this is, I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for a really long time. And I like mnemonics, acronyms, systems, models, frameworks, things like this. These are things that make it easy for you to remember things. Okay. And this is not something I came up with. This is something that I found from somebody else, but it is understanding focus. Okay. And focusing in on the goal. And focus stands for follow one course until success. Okay. Follow one course until success. So you probably know what you need to do. You just might not be giving yourself enough time to do it. So you can't know it works if you never stay long enough to see results. Quitting something 2-3 weeks in, 6 weeks in, 6 weeks is nothing. 6 weeks is nothing in the grand scheme of life. Okay. And so this idea of just giving yourself a year is helping you to say, okay, I want to run a 5K. I want to run a 5K. And so I don't know when I'm going to run a 5K. There's 5Ks all over my area of the country all the time. I could register for one just about any weekend, weather permitting, of course. But I do know that in order for me to get started, I need to run. I need to run. I need to plan for running. I need to get shoes. I need to get an outfit. You don't need an outfit, but I mean, having a cute outfit is kind of motivational. But you're like, okay, I'm going to do these things until all of a sudden one day you're like, holy crap, I'm a runner. I'm going to run a 5K next weekend. Okay. Follow one course until success. You know what you need to do? Just follow it and do it. Do the work. Just, say to yourself, I'm going to give myself a year to do this. It might not take you a year to get to a 5K. Maybe it's in a year you want to be a consistent runner. And in that time frame, you set smaller goals of, I'm going to run a mile. I'm going to run 2 miles. I'm going to run a 5K. I'm going to run a 10K. Before you know it, you're like doing all these things. You're like super duper runner type, right? Okay. So, as I said, I'm a teacher and, there's a lot of research that's done on learning, on transformation, on change. There's a lot of information out there about where your mindset needs to be, in order to be ready for change. Okay. And I like to frame this in the context of we meaning middle-aged people, anywhere between 35 and, 70 is probably not middle-aged, but unless you're going to live to be 140. But I know that there's a lot of you here that might be a little bit older and more experienced and wiser. But I want you to understand that you've got a lot of experience. You've got a lot of experience. You already know what doesn't work for you. You already know what doesn't work for you. You're smart. You pay attention. You know these things that don't work for you, right? And, when we talk about the context of learning, change in behavior, learning is a change in behavior as a result of experience, okay? So you've got this experience. You know what doesn't work for you. You know these 6-week challenges don't work for you. You go all in. You go hard. You might lose 10 pounds. But then once that challenge is over, you're just like, now what? Now what do I do? What the freak do I do? And you just go back to your old ways. Okay. So what we want here is a change in behavior as a result of experience. So it's, you got this experience, what doesn't work. You keep doing the things that don't work. So are you really moving forward? Are you really moving forward if you keep doing all the things that you've been doing? They don't work, but you keep doing them. All right. So change happens. A change in behavior is a result of experience. That's learning. Okay. And so when we apply it to our lives, we make that change happen. Okay. There's a lot. I mean, like literally people have PhDs in this kind of stuff where they study transformation, they study change, they study learning, how it works in our brain, that kind of thing. We're just going here really, really, really high level on like, you're smart. You've got experience. You're wise. You know. All right. So let's take the experience that you have and maybe make some tweaks in what it is that you're doing, how you're applying it, how are the things that what is that change in behavior that needs to happen, okay? So Why give yourself a year changes everything, okay? A year removes the panic. A year removes the panic of like, I'm going to Hawaii. I want to look good in a bikini and it's happening in 6 weeks. And you're in 6 week panic mode and you're starving yourself and you're doing all the cardio and you're trying to get in all the steps and eat all the protein and doing all the things that you see on social media. And you're in this like panic mode. And then you go to Hawaii, you go balls to the wall, you eat, drink everything under the sun. You come back home and you're 10 pounds heavier because you're inflamed and bloated. And then you're just like, I got nothing to work towards. So we're just going to go back to the old things. Okay. So giving yourself a year just it removes all of that. Just removes all of that. Give yourself a year. Okay. But a year can be overwhelming. A year can be very overwhelming. So let's talk about what Operation Fit AF is. Okay. You choose the goal. And we've got people that their goal is to build strength. Some people, their goal is fat loss. Some people, their goal is to get back into a consistent pattern, a consistent routine. Some people might be training for something. Some people are like, I know that I don't spend enough time on active recovery, doing things like yoga, stress management, all those things. There's no single definition of fit. All right. Even when I said it, when I just like off the cuff said it to my friend, like, I'm going to get fit as fuck. Like, there's no like definition of fit. Like, I just wanted to lose weight. I wanted to look straight, right? And we provide a little bit of structure here without micromanagement. There's some structure in that, like I've got a framework that I call the balance framework, and it's the boring basics. Let's just get back to these boring basics. They apply mostly across the board. There's some nuance to things. You might have unique situations, of course, but we give you a little bit of structure here without the micromanagement. It's not a diet. It's not a workout plan. I've got information about nutrition. I've got recipe packs. I've got workout plans. I've got those things for you. I mean, you can certainly use those. But that's not what this is. It's shifting that mindset from I'm going to take a year to do this, and I want to do it with a community of people. I want to do it with other people. They might not be doing the same goal as me, but we're on the same journey. Okay. So it's not like we're not trying to change your personality. We're not trying to change the fundamentally, who you are as at the most basic fundamental level. We're not doing any of that, right? It's just, that you want to do this. You want to get back to something that you can handle for, the rest of your life. Like, you might be 45 years old going, what's going on with my body? And I can't imagine what life is going to be like when I'm 55, 65, or 75. Okay. Yeah, of course, things are going to change 100%. Things are going to change, but you can be doing things now to start building that strong, healthy body in your 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, beyond. I was reading the book Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia. And he said in there, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but he was meeting with a patient, and the patient she was 40s, I'll say. And he asked her, what is it that you want to be doing when you're in your 80s and 90s? And she said that she wanted to be doing things like hiking and kickboxing and, going to yoga class, things like that. Like, I'm paraphrasing here. And he answered, he's like, well, are you doing those things now? And she wasn't. And he's like, well, why do you think you're going to be able to do those things in your 80s and 90s if you're not even doing it now in your 40s? Okay. And that really stuck with me. And that's something that I think about a lot. Like, if I want to, continue doing things, into my later stages in life, I got to be doing them now. Of course, I know things are going to change. I might have injuries and illness and things like this, but I'm going to work through it. Okay. So, and this is also not one-on-one coaching. If you are looking for one-on-one coaching, we have some other options there for you, but where you'll get, sort of that one-on-one attention, one-on-one customization. But this is a group challenge that we do together. Okay. So, I talked earlier about the boring basics. The balance framework is what I call it. They never stopped working. We just stopped staying in them. All right. And so the balance framework, when we talk about the boring basics, Heather, you say this all the time. The boring basics still work. But what the hell are you talking about? Okay. Balance. Now, it's an acronym. We start up here at the B. Everything, at Acronym, teacher. That's what I do. Okay. So B is to build strength through movement. A is to get adequate hydration. L is to lower your stress levels. I did not say reduce or, eliminate stress. We're lowering your stress levels, finding different ways to manage your stress. Getting adequate sleep, adequate recovery. We're not going balls to the wall every single day. Nourish your mind and body, paying attention to the things you're consuming, whether it is through your mouth, through your mind, through your eyes, through your ears. Create a success plan. Success is the key word there. You can create all the plans you want. But are you going to be successful with the plan if it's not a realistic plan? Are you saying to yourself, I'm going to lose 75 pounds in 3 weeks? Like most of us probably know that's not realistic, but sometimes when you're coming into something new for the first time, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So you don't know, like you're setting a goal that's just not realistic. And then you're failing at it and you feel like a failure because you're like, I failed at this thing that you didn't even know was unrealistic. It could be something like, I want to, let's see, I'm trying to think of like a totally unrealistic goal. I'm going to give you this example. This was me when I broke my leg. I broke my tibia and fibula at the end of January 2023. So like January 28th. We're talking basically February. And I was supposed to do a hike in April of 2023. And I told my doctors, I need to be ready for this hike. It's 12 weeks. I need to be ready for this hike. And he kind of was like, I don't know. I told my physical therapist, I will do whatever you need me to do. Just tell me what to do and I will do it. I need to be ready for this hike. Like, I need you to understand I'm a strong, determined person. You tell me what to do, I'm going to do it. And he's like, I don't know. When my doctor was sitting here trying to tell me like, Heather, this is a major break and you need a year and a half to recover from this. But what I didn't understand was, I'd broken bones before and it's like 6 to 8 weeks, you'll throw a cast on it, you're good. That's what I thought I was in for, but no, I wasn't. Okay. So you can create all the plans you want, but are you going to be successful with it? So success is the key word there. And then E is to embrace consistency and accountability. So a little bit, there's a little bit of a lot in there too, but being consistent with it over time and then being accountable, learning how to hold yourself accountable. And until you know how to hold yourself accountable, maybe you've got a community of people who are holding you accountable to your goals. Okay. So that's a balance framework. We talk a lot about this. We're going to be talking a lot more about this in 2026. So how does this actually work? So you can join anytime. We run 75-day missions that align with the calendar quarters. So you can join at any time though. So like it's just, what is it right now? It's January 4th, 2026. We're starting the next mission January 15th, 2026. So if you're watching this in the future, totally fine. I'm just explaining just where we are right now. But we do 75-day missions that align with the calendar quarters. The last day is always going to be the last day of the quarter. And then I just work backwards and figure out what's 75 days. That's the first day of that quarter. Okay. Now, the reason for this, the reason we do these 75-day missions when you're like, Heather, you just said these short challenges, they are frustrating because you do them and then you go balls to the wall. And then after the challenge is done, you're just like, what do I do next? And they don't work, blah, blah. Okay. So here's the reasoning for this. What I have found, and there's some logic around this, is that when you say to yourself, I'm going to lose 100 pounds, I'm going to do this for a year, I'm going to train for a marathon, but I've just been sitting on the couch all day, every day for the last 6 years. When you have such a big goal like that, it can be overwhelming, and that overwhelm can be something that will hold you back. I've worked a lot over the last 25 years with people to help them on personal and professional goals. And sometimes some of these goals are multiple years long, 4, 5, 6 years. Okay. And to say to yourself, I want to do this thing in 6 years from now, that is hard. That is a hard thing to do. So what you do is you start working backwards and let's break this down into smaller goals. And then you also take breaks. So think about it. You go to school, if you decide to go back to college or something, you go to school, there's breaks. There's breaks in between semesters. You have breaks in the middle of the term. And there's a reason for that. It's to give your mind, to give your body, to give yourself some time to just not focus in and burn yourself out. Okay. So we do 75-day missions because you pick your yearly goal, but we work on it for 75 days. And then you've got a week and a half, 2 weeks or so in between where it's like, you're not going balls to the wall off the rails or anything, but you're just like, okay, I'm taking a little bit of a break here. And the idea around that is that you can live this healthy lifestyle, but you know what? When Christmas comes around, when New Year's comes around, when you go on vacation and you're kind of just not on the program, whatever your plan might be, whatever it is that you're doing, and you get off of it, the idea is that you learn how to get yourself back on it. All right. And that's the self-accountability I was just talking about in the previous slide, is how do you hold yourself accountable to, I've drifted a little bit. You might have a very intentional drift. I'm going on vacation. I'm going to go to Hawaii and I'm going to have some drinks on the beach and I'm going to, enjoy some foods and some treats and, have these things. But when I get back home, it's time to get back to it. All right. That's part of holding yourself accountable. And so these 75-day missions, when we let our focus go just a little bit, it's all right, get yourself back on it. Okay. But the main reason for this, though, is that it really helps to reduce that overwhelm of like, I'm doing this over a year. So if you do 4 missions, 4 75-day missions, that's a year. All right. So you do these 4 times, focus in on it. You drift, you're going to drift. I promise you're going to drift. You bring it back. Okay. So you're going to get access. I have a portal. You got access to workouts. I've got like workouts in a PDF format. The idea is just give you some ideas if you want to go to the gym, if you're not quite certain what to do. It's a place to get you started. We've got yoga classes on demand in 2026. I'm adding some live virtual yoga classes over Zoom. You'll have access to those recordings if you're not able to come during the live session. We've got a couple nutrition workshops and some recipe packs. And I'm working on putting that together as one full Operation Fit AF cookbook. I'm excited about that. That's coming. And I think the big thing here is that it's a community. It's a community of people who are on the same journey. We don't all have the same goals, but we are all saying to ourselves, we're going to give ourselves a year. And, then you're like, what happens after the year, Heather? Well, I hope you just keep going. I mean, I started this April of 2024. It's January 2026 right now. I'm just going to keep going. Okay. And you can start this anytime. When I first started talking about this, I was like, well, I'm going to start this and or I'm doing this. And I had a couple people say to me, well, I want to do this too, but I just don't know when to get started. And I was like, well, you can start at any time. It doesn't matter when. I just put dates on it here for you. Okay. That's the structure without micromanagement that I was talking about. Okay. And then we do have some live sessions. Again, same thing. If you can't come to the live recording, most people don't come to the live recordings. They watch the recordings afterwards. And we've got a Facebook group where you can communicate with each other, share your journey there. So you can go to heathermotley.com/books. I've got a link there for my book. It's on Amazon right here. You can grab the ebook or you can get a printed copy as well. There's a link to it there. Like I said, just go there, sends you right over to Amazon to grab it. So now let's go into some of the frequently asked questions that I get about Operation Fit AF. Okay. So number 1, is Operation Fit AF only for women? The answer is no. However, we've just only had women join. That's not to say it's not for men. We've just only had women join. I've had some men express some interest. But yeah, we just haven't had any men join yet. And I say yet because I know one of you is going to be the first one to do it. And number 2, is this a weight loss program? No, it is not. Weight loss could be your goal. Could 100% be your goal. It was mine. It started out as mine. It's mine has morphed into other things. But no, it is not a weight loss program, but weight loss could be your goal. Okay. I'm already working out. Is this still for me? Yes. We have some people that they've already been working out. We have some people that got on to like a running program. We've got some people that they've already lost their own weight on their own and they want to keep it going. And they're trying out different types of workouts, things like yoga, weightlifting. They're trying out things in their own communities, some classes at their gyms, things like that. So yes, this is 100% for you if you're already working out. Maybe you don't need the workout plans that I've got on my website. You don't want to do virtual yoga, totally fine. We do have a lot of people that are just like, I want the community of people that are doing the same thing to help hold myself accountable. Okay. How are the 75-day missions different from short challenges that don't work? This is where we are trying to reduce the overwhelm of saying, okay, I want to do this. I want to, I want to lose 50 pounds and I'm going to give myself a year to do it. That seems awfully intimidating. It seems awfully overwhelming. So, in the next 2 months, 2.5 months, can I lose 10 pounds? That's a little bit more, less intimidating. All right. So this is where we break a larger goal down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Okay. And then do I have to follow a specific workout or meal plan? Absolutely not. I do not believe in one way of eating and one way of working out. I think that you should is a strong word. I always say that should's a strong word, but you should know what works best for you, and you might not know what works best for you. And this is where things become a little bit of a science experiment. Okay. You try different things out. This works. This does not work. You might have really good results with the carnivore diet. You might have religious reasons of why you don't eat meat. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say you have to do the carnivore diet when you're just like, well, that goes against my religious beliefs. Okay. So, you've got to figure out what works best for you. And then find that just like that lifelong strategy that's going to work for you long term. Okay. So no, you do not have to follow a specific workout or meal plan. Like I said, I've got recipe packs, working on the Operation Fit AF cookbook, some nutrition. I've got some nutrition workshops on calculating and counting macros. You don't have to count macros. Counting macros is really for somebody with a goal like mine, where it's like, I want to look snatched. I want the arms. Okay. So, you don't have to count macros. There's ways to build your plate. I've got information in there about, if you're not counting macros, you're not counting calories. Here's how you build your plate. Do this 80% of the time, you're going to see success. All right. So those are some of the frequently asked questions. I want you to remember, like I said earlier, you're experienced, you've been around, you know what's up, right? And I don't want you to think about this like you're starting over. You are not starting over. You're continuing on. You're learning from your experience. You're applying and changing your behavior in just small, minor ways as a result of the experiences that you've had in the past. You know what doesn't work. You know this does work. So let's keep being mindful of what those things are and build you a lifelong strategy for a healthy lifestyle. You're building your body for the next decades. All right. If you're in your 30s, you might be thinking about what is this going to be like when I'm 48 years old? You might be 48 like I am, and I'm sitting here going like, what is this going to be like when I'm 70? Like, I want to stack the cards in my favor. Okay. And then I think what you'll find is whatever it is that you decide to work on as part of Operation Fit AF, that discipline that you learn from being consistent, bringing yourself back when you drift off the plan, whatever your plan is, whatever you've decided you want to do, that discipline really is going to spill over into other areas of your life, such as work, relationships, your confidence. You walk into a room and things are a little bit different. You're not so self-conscious that people are looking at you or feeling like everybody's looking at you. You might feel a little bit more confident in work meetings. You might feel a little bit more, like I said earlier, like you might go into a very difficult conversation at work, maybe in your personal life, whatever it might be. And, maybe even 3 days later, you're like, oh, I just had that really difficult conversation and I didn't blow up. I handled it pretty well. I'm doing the things, I'm doing the work. Okay. So just remember, you're not starting over. 100% not starting over. You have the experience. You know what's up. Okay. So I want to, leave you with this. What if you stopped rushing? What if you stopped being like, I need to do this in 2 weeks. I need to do this in 3 weeks. If you're watching this maybe at the end of January and in the beginning of February, and you already started just being like, I'm losing my motivation here. I'm losing my desire to keep going with this. What if you stopped thinking about it like, okay, I started this in the beginning of January. Now it's the end of January and I still don't fit into the jeans I want to fit into. Just stop thinking like that and start thinking more like, what if I gave myself a year to do this, and knowing that I'm not going to get to the gym every day. My goal might be to go to the gym, 3 days a week, but you know what? If it happens 2 days this week because I got life going on, that's still a win. Okay. That's still a win. All right. So what if you stopped rushing and gave yourself a year? So that's Operation Fit AF. You can do this without joining. You can do it without joining us as well. You get access to all the things. I post about it a lot on social media. So you can follow along 100%. I'll be posting here on YouTube as well. But you can, if you are interested in joining, go to operationfitaf.com. Right here, operationfitaf.com. You've got options that you can register for one 75-day mission. It will not automatically renew. Or if you're like, I'm going to do this, you can register for the full year. The math adds up. The 75-day challenge and the 1 year challenge, the math adds up, the price wise. And then at the beginning of the challenges, I do send out emails with information. We have an information session, kickoff sessions, goal setting, all that good stuff. And then at the end of each quarter, we do little prizes. We have some fun prizes that you are eligible for. You have to be part of the membership though to be eligible for those prizes. So go to operationfitaf.com. You can join there. I hope that you will join us